On April 18th, 1974, the greatest thing to happen in Britain since its victory against the Nazis took place in the small town of Poole, England. The birth of Edgar Wright. A big fan of films from a young age, Edgar directed several short films as a young man, using a camera he was given by his family and later one he won in a television competition. From these short films, Edgar's future directing style was already prominent as he focused on creating comedic takes on already popular genres and movies such as Dirty Harry. All of this culminated in 1995 with the debut of Edgar's first proper film, A Fistful of Fingers, which was not at all successful, but led to many seeing some potential in Edgar, which, let's just say, prevented him from immediately being cast away from the filmmaking industry. Thanks to this, in the years after, Edgar went on to become a highly successful director, creating several movies that have developed their cult followings thanks to their very unique styles brought by him. To see this, we will be analyzing two of his movies, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Baby Driver. While music does play a role in most movies, in Edgar's they are a central part of his directing. Both the movies we chose today are perfect examples of this. In Scott Pilgrim, Wright put a very large focus on the music of Scott and his band, Sex Bob-omb, unlike in the comics, where their music at the very least plays a much smaller role. Take this from someone who owns them. Anytime an evil X appears, they are giving a very unique theme that goes along with the way the action goes and seems to make the scene itself, as the actors, the mood, and everything centers around it. Usually, whenever music doesn't play in Scott Pilgrim and Baby Driver, the scene is quieter and there is little to no action as the movie puts a focus on dialogue.
Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler.
Really? Is she hot?
How old are you now, Scott? Like 28?
I'm not playing your little games, kids.
So you've been out of high school for like 13 years.
I'm 22.
For example, in the battle between Sex Bob-omb and the Katayanagi twins, fuck, I cannot spell that name for shit, the entire scene centers around the music, with no dialogue while the performance is ongoing. The music drives the intensity and progression of the scene, and only during a brief pause does the band take a moment.
Let's just break up now and get it over with.
Once the music resumes, the action follows suit, reinforcing the idea that music propels the narrative and energy of Wright's film. Meanwhile, in Baby Driver, almost the entire thing is centered around Baby's love for music, and you get that from the beginning with the opening car chase scene, which is quite literally the driving force behind every little thing in it, as most of it is synced to the music and its feeling. As the slick and cool intro of Bell Bottoms plays, the scene begins with a relaxed and confident energy. The robbers move casually, preparing for their heist while Baby lip syncs and dances to the music. The song then calms down as a police car drives past, prompting Baby to momentarily pause and maintain composure. As the robbers return to the car and prepare to escape, the song builds up, mirroring the tension and anticipation before the car chase kicks into full gear. The music picks up pace, driving the rhythm of the scene and heightening the excitement. Here, the scene is very much dominated by the music. Our little comedian here also loves using visual comedy in his films, another part of his highly energetic directing style. Quick cuts, camera movement, and framing are used very heavily to tell jokes rather than to say them straight up. My favorite example of this is from Scott Pilgrim, when Knives, who Scott is trying to break up with, comes to visit his house, so he gets gay Kieran Culkin, the best of the Kieran Culkin brothers, to protect him. And there's also an example of Wright's usage of quick cuts in the movie. Meanwhile, in Baby Driver's coffee run sequence, for example, Wright fills the background with hidden jokes and visual details. We see two old men talking on the phone about waiting for each other while they're a few meters away. The lyrics of the song are also written as graffiti throughout it. You even see Baby being yelled at to stop a taxi for someone, but gracefully allows it to pass by while he grooves. Possibly the basis of the uniqueness of Edgar Wright's movies is his ability to turn movies into a good blend of different genres. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, for example, is described as a romantic action comedy, and within it, Wright also emphasized the comic book and video game aesthetic, something which I believe is very nice, seeing how live-action adaptations of comics usually go. At times throughout the movie, he even uses animation of parts of the comics as a way to tell the backstory of the 7 evil X's, and the fights are full of video game and comic effects, such as when the X's died and coins appear out of thin air, or when Lucas Lee was skating and raking up points as he continued doing tricks before dying. Meanwhile, Baby Driver is essentially a heist musical movie, evident with how, even with Wright's directing style, the music takes an especially important part in the storytelling.
Wait, I gotta start the song over.
And as almost everything in the movie goes along with the music, it inherently functions the same as a musical movie. But I'd say the better example of Wright's genre blending comes from his Cornetto trilogy, made up of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. This trilogy of movies, while their stories are not necessarily connected, are named this way as they all share a scene where the main character, who in all three are the same actors playing different people, go get a different flavor of Cornetto ice cream. And while the movies have the same cast, they are each distinctly different and have some type of genre blending. Shaun of the Dead is a romantic comedy taking place within a zombie action movie, which created the term Ro-zom-com. Okay. Hot Fuzz is a body cop action movie taking place within a British murder mystery theme. And finally, The World's End is a comedy drama mixed with the sci-fi invasion genre. In the end, the only common factor between them all is the comedy aspect, which Wright mixed into stories that would generally not be deemed fitting. In short, Edgar Wright's directing style puts a high emphasis on comedy and music, both of which he finds very creative ways to use in his movies. Music is highly influential in his scene directing and perhaps even writing, and the editing is emphasized to tell jokes. Meanwhile, at times Wright mixes comedy with serious stories, possibly as a way to more lightheartedly tell a deep one. But I don't think I am doing him justice with this video alone, which is why I do not only recommend watching his movies, but also other videos analyzing and discussing Edgar Wright's style and the man himself. Even watch videos from him. Come on. I put some personal recommendations in the description, so go check them out. Thank you for watching, and I hope I at least helped you get interested in our good old Edgar.
We're rock stars. We do what we want. And what we want right now is to be movie stars.